Good morning everyone, I'm Chris and welcome back to another episode of Rift Amps. So as I'm filming this, it is currently Monday morning, and over the weekend, as you've seen in the last video, I was exhibiting at the Birmingham Guitar Show here in the UK. It's the UK's biggest show, and it's getting bigger every year, and so big congratulations to Jason, the organiser, for putting on such an amazing show. So many cool people there, brands, celebrities, YouTubers, everyone turns up. It's such a good event. My stand, I've never known it to be so busy. We had literally a non-stop stream of people coming up to say hello. Some of you subscribers came along, said hello. We had guitar players, famous and non, come and try the amps we had on stand, especially the Ainsley Lister Signature. Now, we did have Ainsley's own touring amp, serial number 1, on the stand, which has got quite a few hours on it now, and it just sounds incredible. It's so good. So I didn't actually manage to film a lot at the show, and the stuff I did was in vertical format for social media. So I'm going to include some of the clips, but I didn't get many. It was just too busy, just talking to people for 2 days straight about all things guitar, amplifiers, pedals, you name it. We talked about it, had such a good time. But today I'm absolutely shattered. Really need to take a day off, but I'm just too busy. So straight back on it today. I've got amps to build and pack up and get out the door, got servicing to do as well. So it's just non-stop. But just wanted to say thank you if you came to see me at the show, and Ainsley as well. Thank you so much. It was such a good time. Really enjoyed meeting you. I really appreciate every single one of you that tunes in, watches these videos, hits that subscribe button. It does make a huge difference. Right, so first job of the week is I need to get the next batch of boards made up. So I've got an Ainsley Lister one to do, as always, and this is for the PR35, the chassis which you saw me populate the other week. So I need to get that one done. So I have a template board that I stick to the top, and then I just drill through them. You've seen this before, but if you haven't, this is how I go and do it. I use 3 different sized holes on my boards. The eyelets themselves need 3.2mm, which are the smaller ones. I use 6mm holes for any wire pass-throughs, and there's a 4mm hole there and here, which is for the standoffs. But, and this is the important thing, I don't actually drill a 4mm hole. The only reason I've got them there in larger is that I'm not tempted to drill it for an eyelet, because it's actually 3mm for the standoff, so it's slightly smaller. So that's just my way of remembering, and I've got the same on this one actually. Slightly larger one for the standoffs. Anyway, yeah, so I need to drill these out and get those done. Get the eyelets loaded, swaged into place, then I can get these boards populated and done, ready to go into the chassis. Right, so I'm just taking the opportunity, as I was sorting out stuff from the guitar show, to give the workshop a bit of a deep clean. So I've moved the bench back up against the wall, and I've got loads of space, absolutely tons of it. I don't know what to do with myself. Could actually swing a cat in here if I wanted to. So yeah, but what was I going to say? Yes, I found so much stuff here that I forgot I had. You know, what's the difference between a collector and a hoarder? Well, a collector knows what they've got, so I must be a hoarder, right? But I've just been going through and I found loads of bits and pieces. So if you're ever in need of any amp bits, wang me an email, because I might just have what you need shoved in a box somewhere. I've got so much stuff that I've just completely forgotten about. Nuts, bolts, handles, amp corners, valves, tubes, whatever. I even found an old 50-watt Marshall transformer in the cupboard. So yeah, I've got loads of stuff. So if there's anything you are missing or you need and you can't find it, send me an email. I might just have it. Anyway, what I wanted to show you was, as you know, this channel became monetized at the end of January, which wasn't ever the goal for me. It's just a nice thing to happen. The point of the channel is to show you off what I get up to every week in the workshop, and then hopefully that just brings in more business, just as a as a way of advertising. But the channel's actually done more money in February than I thought it would. What I mean by that is, for the amount of views that I got, which I think was about 27,000 views across all my videos, I've earned quite a bit of scratch. So, and I actually feel a little bit guilty about that, because I didn't realise that that was how much you could earn for that number of views. And of course, right, that makes sense why everyone does YouTube, right? Because you can earn good money. So I think I earned 78 quid or something. I'll put the numbers on the screen now. But you can see actually for I mean, it's completely passive income. I haven't done anything different to what I've been doing for the past year, but it's just that now I'm getting a cut of that advertising income. So, and I did promise I would reinvest it in the channel, because I want to be able to create better content for you guys. It's not about me lining my pockets, right? So with the money that I've earned, I bought myself an overhead camera rig and light. Now, if you were online during the week, you would have seen I did a live stream test using this rig, right? So you can attach your phone to it here, got an LED light, and then I can live stream amp building from here, but also I can use it to film more close-up stuff from a better angle rather than hand holding the camera. So here's a time lapse of me building a speaker cable, the ones that I make all the time, but you can see it's a much nicer high quality image. So yeah, that's what I've used the money on so far. But what I am going to do is, the only problem with live streaming from a phone, which is what I was using, is that if someone rings you, it cuts it off. And so what I've got is a GoPro mount, and one of the GoPros that I use on my race car. I'm going to wire it up and hook it all up to this, and then I can live stream from the GoPro via a computer, and then my phone is free, so if anyone rings, it doesn't cut the live stream off or cause issues, because we were having some audio issues on that test too. So yeah, so that's what I've done with that money. So thank you very much. I'm using that money to give back to you so we can do better stuff on the channel. But yeah, that was the first thing I bought with my newfound wealth. Yeah, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy the kind of stuff we're doing. Bit of a blast from the past here. This is one of the very earliest amp builds that I ever did. Back in 2012, I think it was. I went full-time with Rift in 2013, so this is pre-full-time Rift. This is when I was just building for friends, family, guys down the local jam night. This is a Princeton Reverb style amplifier, one that originally went on to become my PR18. So this one is running on the bench, and it's actually running really well. Sounds great. It's coming for a service. It's not owned by the original owner anymore. It got sold on eBay, passed through a couple of guys, and now it's in the hands of a good customer of mine, so I still look after it for him. But as you can see, I wasn't always as neat as I am now. You know, this is very early days of my amp building career. Still perfectly functional though. But yeah, I built to a much higher standard now. So isn't that funny? Back when I was using orange drops, look. Yeah. But anyway, it's running on the bench. Seems to be fine. He was complaining of an issue with the input jacks, so cleaned those up, did some shielded wire, new resistors and bits and pieces. Sorted out the bias circuit. This one did have a hardwired mains cable, so I put him an IEC socket on, brought it up to code, make it a bit better for him. So yeah, really, really interesting blast from the past. We're also putting the cabinet had a Celestion Vintage 30 in it, and we're going to be putting a Celestion A-Type in his cabinet for him. Now, I was speaking to the sales rep for Celestion at the guitar show, and he was telling me that all Celestion guitar speakers are coming back in-house at Ipswich, so they're all going to be UK made from now on, which is fantastic news. I mean, that's brilliant. That's what a lot of people have asking for a while. So I'm not sure when the changeover will be, but every Celestion speaker from a certain point will now be UK made. Guitar speakers, that is. So that's wonderful news. Fantastic. So and because of import issues with American stuff, I'm actually going to start using more Celestion drivers in my amplifiers moving forward. So you're going to start to see more of that stuff. But the A-Type is there. It's a 50-watt American voice speaker, so I can use it in PR6, PR18, PR35. It can't go in the PR50. I need a higher wattage speaker for that. But I'm going to start slowly moving over to Celestion gradually. I think it's the way we'll put that. But yeah, anyway. One of the very, very earliest Rift amplifiers. Right, I'm actually using that mount right now. I've got it at head height. I've got my LED light on. You can see should be able to see I'm moving it around. Anyway, looks all right, doesn't it? Some of you will also notice that I've started putting these videos out in 4K, so you can get a higher image quality. Because I did notice, looking back at some of the older videos, the YouTube compression was killing the quality of the content I was putting out. So hopefully this is all coming to you in a much nicer image quality. You can all see what's going on. Obviously I've been running the microphones now for a while. Here's the receiver that hangs off the phone. Works really well. Really happy with it all. What I wanted to talk to you about was supporting smaller businesses. It's something I'm very, very passionate about, and I think, you know, whatever the industry is, support the small local guy, the small shop. You know, if you have to go to a big chain, fine, do that. But if you have the opportunity to buy from a small firm, please do so. The reason I bring that up is at the guitar show last weekend, I was looking at the exhibitor list, who else was there alongside me, and I realised there were some brands there there were brands who used to be there but aren't anymore. And so I started Rift. I went full time with it in 2013. That's when I I stopped the other job and I went full time with this to see if I could make it work. And I grew and I grew and I grew the business over the years up until that point. Over that time period, I met some of the most amazing guitar builders, pedal builders, other amp builders, people who are, making cool things like me, a 1-man or 2-man operation in a shed or in a small workshop, just trying to make cool gear, to give musicians better tone. It's all we want to do, right? And anyway, I'm looking at this exhibitor list and I realised that there's a couple of names on there who are missing. And I'd completely forgotten about them. I haven't thought about it. But if you go back and compare previous exhibitor lists, who was at that show before and who isn't now, you realise some of these people didn't quite make it. What I mean by that, of course, is the double whammy of Brexit. Now, I'm not going to go into what you guys think about Brexit, which way you voted, or any of that, but I think it's fair to say for every single small and medium enterprise in this industry in the UK, it is now more difficult to do business after Brexit than it was before. That's just a fact. I'm not going to say any more on that, but it is just more difficult to do business. We had that and we had COVID at the same time. So that double-edged attack, that two-pronged attack on small businesses just killed everything. And so I'm looking back and I'm seeing some of the most amazing luthiers, amp builders, pedal builders who aren't doing it anymore. They had to close up shop. And actually, looking at some of those guys who I considered to be above me, more successful than me, at the time were doing really cool things. I kind of felt a bit guilty that I survived and they didn't. Is that weird? Is that a strange thing to say? Should I have that guilt? I don't know, but yeah, I'm not going to mention who they are because I know some of them have been through real tough times since their businesses have failed. In fact, I emailed one of them just the other day, and he's not doing well at all. He really struggled since his amp business closed down. So yeah, I mean, what do you do, right? But anyway, for some reason, somehow, I'm still here. I'm still doing it, against all odds, because it is difficult. But what I want to say is, if you're thinking about buying a guitar, seek out your local luthier, see what they can do for you. You want to buy, you're looking for a new fuzz or a new overdrive or anything like that. See if there's a local guy doing something really cool. And again with amps, you want to get yourself another amp. Do you want to spend $2,000 on X brand name, or do you want to spend a couple £100 more and support a small business and get something that's hand built for you? That's my call out. There is, if you can help small businesses, it is difficult. We are working really hard just to try and pay the bills, support the family, and it's not nice to see when these small businesses can't go on, especially when we've got all these things working against us. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. Here we go then. This is the latest Ainsley Lister signature to be signed off. I'll be honest with you, when the customer originally placed the order for this and he specified the wine red Tolex with the red cloth, the dark wine red cloth, oxblood they call it, I have to admit I wasn't convinced it'd work. Usually with dark colours you want to go even darker, like a black, like I've done on the prototype that we've got out the front, or you want to go for a contrast colour like a basket weave, which I thought would look really good, but he said no, I'm going to stick to my guns and insist we go for this wine red oxblood. Do you know what? He was right, I was wrong. This thing looks great. It's like red velvet, isn't it? It looks really, really good. Mega happy with how that's turned out. What a classy look, eh? You may notice something is missing, however, which is, of course, the handle on top. Now, I when I get my cabinets done for me, I always make sure that the handles are not installed, because I've got to drill the mounting holes and all those things. And if handle is already installed, if you have to remove it, you can risk damaging it or scratching it or something like that. So I always insist that the handles are not installed, and I do that as part of final assembly. So, but unfortunately, there is a bit of a shortage at the moment of the gold handles, the black handle with the gold hardware. A bit of a shortage in the UK at the moment. So when this cabinet was ready for shipping to me, builder said, I haven't got any handles. Is that okay? I said, of course, no problem. I looked online, and I stuck one on an order from a supplier. Now, usually with handles, it comes with all the mounting hardware and all of the bits, but all that's turned up is just the strap bit. So there's none of the end caps. There's usually a metal end cap under here, which the bolt and the screw goes through each side, and then there's a finishing cover in gold to match. None of that's supplied. Now, that's never been the case. It's always come as a whole package, a whole unit, as you might call it, but not on this one. And I've just gone online to look at another supplier, and they are now selling them separately. So they're splitting. I don't know whether that's the way they come now, but you have to buy all the things separately rather than just in one package, which is just bizarre. So I've now had to place an order for the rest of it just to get this done. I mean, this is the type of stuff we deal with all the time. It's never straightforward. Oh, getting annoyed by it, actually. But yeah, so that's the only reason this one hasn't shipped yet, is that I'm waiting on the rest of the handle bits to arrive. I mean, how stupid is that? So I can get this thing out the door. But yeah, apart from that, doesn't that look smart? Yeah. Anyway, you might have seen this on my social media. I sent a picture to the customer and he's absolutely ecstatic. He thinks it looks fantastic and I agree with him. So yeah, Ainsley is the signature. Almost done. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. Just want to show you quickly a couple of things I found in the workshop. So this is a standard ECC83 12AX7 valve tube, whatever you want to call it. You can see the kind of size. Now that's a dual triode. So in there, it's actually two valves in one, as you in one envelope, and that's typical. One of the typical valves you'll find in a guitar amplifier. But I was just rummaging through boxes and I found this beast. Now this is a single triode, a T130-1. Don't know if you can see that on there. It's absolutely monstrous, look. Now this, as I said, it's a triode, but it's actually a radiation cooled triode. So it cools itself down with radiation. There is a data sheet online, so you can look these things up. I mean, I've got no use for it in a guitar amplifier, but it's cool to have. Just look at the size difference. And there are valves, tubes and CRTs that are much bigger than this. But yeah, I thought you might enjoy that. There you go. So please give this video a thumbs up. Any comments down below, I do try and read them all and respond to them all, as long as they are helpful and engaging, etc, etc, etc. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to join the channel to help us out, there is a button below for you to do that. It's only $1.99 a month, I think. Very, very cheap, hardly anything. Or is it $2.99 a month? I think it's $2.99. Anyway, still affordable. Or you can use the super chat, super comment function if you want to help the channel that way. But yeah, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you all at the next one.